from the Watchbox Studios, this is On Point with Cynthia Hardy.
Hey, good morning and welcome to On Point on Watchbox. You know I'm feeling good. I got Brian McConchie here by my side.
Morning.
Morning, Brian, and thank you for being here today.
Glad
We're
to do
talking
it.
independent artists just changing the game. Independent artists are increasingly gaining recognition and success, reshaping the music industry landscape by leveraging digital tools, direct fan engagement, diverse revenue streams. And Brian, it's interesting. The first one that we saw do this to a real effect was Master P in New Orleans when he was selling out of his trunk. And all of a sudden, he didn't necessarily need a record deal. He could do his own.
He was his record deal.
He was his record deal. And so we thought it would be a really good idea to talk about the independent artists community in Columbia and talk about how it's leading to more financial independence, leading to more diverse and dynamic music. The whole ecosystem around South Carolina's music and entertainment is really influenced by our independent artists. It's so ripe in our area for it. So the first half of our show, we're going to talk to Alexis Pipkins, also known to us as AP and as Pip. And so, Pip, you have a band called Soulful Touch.
Yes, ma'am.
And Brian, we had the opportunity of seeing one of Pip's first, public live performances maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And from that, you've just grown exponentially. And I know you have Mario Cloud with you today, who is also your drummer. And so Brian and I just kind of want to get into it and see how you're doing as an independent artist and the benefits to being an independent artist.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having us on here. We appreciate the opportunity. It's been a journey. It's an up and down journey. It's a journey of checks and balances, what works, what doesn't work, what pieces doesn't work. I always tell people it's like a business. It is a business. You're a business of yourself, and especially when you bring other people in, other local artists. Everybody has busy lives. Everybody has different things that they're doing. So sitting in the seat and for the first 3 years not having a manager, shout out to Javon Flecking, who's managing the band now. Shout out to him for helping out to come in and help keep some things orchestrated, and I can kind of relax a little bit. But when you have those different things, you have to manage what someone has to do for work, or where they're traveling from, balancing all those things, making sure everybody is happy, comfortable in the situation in terms of checks and balances, they're getting paid. So those different things, as an independent artist, there are checks and balances that you have to look at. But once you start to establish a system, and the system that works for you and everybody, it makes it better. It's all about the relationship. It's all about understanding the relationship, understanding some things are business more than personal, and how to being able to turn that light switch on and off.
Well, we know Pip from being a director here.
He's direct this show. The one he's sitting on right now.
He's sitting on right now. And was a darn good director.
He was.
And so it's great to see him living his dream.
Well, now his whole life is music.
Right.
I mean, you're a course director in Lee County. You're playing gigs every weekend, multiple ones.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Facts. I think, man, the thing about it that I enjoy the most is I remember as a kid not actually really kind of understanding what I wanted to do, and then also starting to get into music, and then now to be at a point where music is really the fuel of my living. So that's a plus for me. That's an aspect. I'm in front of a piano almost every day, so it gives me the opportunity to be able to put out anything that's in my head, any thoughts that's in my head, and put it into the piano, drums, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Mario, as a drummer, I'm just interested as to how you're taking to this, just the environment where independent artists, there's a lane for you.
Yes, ma'am. Growing up, I was nothing but gospel. Coming out of church, I'm from Chester, South Carolina. Mount Moriah Baptist Church, my home church. Just learning to adapt from gospel to not only R&B but AP's genre.
That's right, because he has a genre.
Yes, he has his own genre.
Yes.
So learning his genre, learning him as an individual. I can't learn the genre without learning the individual. Yeah. So actually taking the time to learn the individual helped me to learn the genre. And without the genre, we wouldn't have AP. So we give God all the glory about it. So I'm forever grateful. Yes, ma'am.
Brian, I'm always in awe of people who have that talent. I don't have that talent. I can't play anything. I can't sing.
My failed attempt to play the piano a long time ago.
Yeah, my mom thought she just paid for lessons.
I wasn't patient enough.
Just paid for lessons, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But it is very humbling to see people who recognize the benefit of musicality and how that really is beneficial to the whole community.
It is, and that's part of what you do too.
Yeah.
You do a lot of community events in addition to your traditional performance.
Yeah, I feel like this. Probably about 2 years ago, I went through a stage where, when I first came to Columbia, through this show, connected with Terrence Young, and those different things kind of helped grow me. But through that process, I had to readapt and learn how to tell my story, because I realized and I understand as you grow, the way you tell your story changes, because you have to be able to reach. It's almost like a pastor. A pastor can't teach everybody the same way. He has to meet people where they are. So I look at it like community. You need the community. With any business, you need people to be a part of it for it to grow. You can't do it by yourself. So taking that aspect, taking that understanding, I have to have community. Community is the base of, I call my shows family reunions, because I want you to feel like you're a family. I want there to be a family aspect, because one thing about family, that tells you we can have ups and downs, but at the same time, if we come together and we feel like we're one, we can push through everything. Like they said, Frank and Beverly said, we are one.
We are one. When we come back, Brian, I kind of want to hear about Gumbo Fest.
Okay.
It's this upcoming event, and how people can get involved with it. We also want to hear a little bit of your music, and I think you provided some. So at the top of the next block, we'll see if we can hear more from that. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation about independent artists changing the game.
From the Watchbox Studios, this is On Point with Cynthia Hardy.
Everybody in the room, clap their hands like this shit. Come on, I need to see them hands up. There's too much color for us not to have no soul in them. This AP and Soulful Touch. You listen to Gumbo, giving unique melodies, beats, omnipotent. We can't have a good time, not for a long time, but the right time. Everybody in the room. I just want you to.
Wow. That was AP and Soulful Touch.
We needed to see it and hear it.
We needed to see
Everyone
it
needed
and
to
hear
know.
it. That's right. And so coming up, you have an event. Today's show is on the importance of independent artists. And we also like for people to know that Columbia, South Carolina has a really vibrant creative scene. We really do. And I'm very happy about that, because having been married to a creative for a long time, it's important that people know that, because people really look at our creative scene and kind of plug it into everything else, you know, because it's a very welcoming. And so you joined it seemingly very, very nicely.
Yes, ma'am. I think, like I said earlier, you know, shout out to Terrence Young. He was a big contributor in helping into me get into that space, and shout out to you as well, because you made the connection. So I do appreciate you all for that, because not being from the area, sometimes it's hard to come into
And
a
you're
space.
from Florence.
Yes, ma'am. Florence, South Carolina, PD, born and raised.
I know, and your parents are very, very active in the Florence community as elected officials, as educators. You're just very, very connected
Yes,
in
ma'am.
those communities.
So, and it's hard sometimes coming into a space and not knowing. But I know in terms of like curating the shows, it's allowed me. At one point, we had a residency at the joint. Excuse me, not the joint, but at the venue downtown.
How about that?
And we did that, I think, for about a year and a half almost.
Okay.
So it was a very great time and opportunity. But now it's expanded into this thing that I call Gumbo. That's my genre. Gumbo is the genre. It stands for giving unique melodies, beats, omnipotent. Giving because that's what we do. Unique because it's different. Melodies is the songs, the horn lines, beats. That's the drums and the heart and soul.
That's the Marios.
Yeah. And then the O stands for omnipotent, which means all power, and that's our faith and that's our belief in God, and everything ties together, and that allows us to be able to accumulate all these different styles and sounds. Because for me, music is a language. It's a way to be able to communicate, whether it's nonverbal or verbal. And me being able to use Gumbo allows me to put all those feelings and all those stories that I have, whether it be about relationships, life, all into one word, and to be able to spew out amongst the people into the world.
Oh, wow. Now we're looking at the screen and we're seeing all those talented artists that are on there. And so how were you able to assemble all of them to come to the center to meet you there?
I say the best thing is conversation and honesty. hey, I'm doing this, would you like to be a part of it? And as you see, we have my kid Murphy, she's going to be the, my kid Janae, she's going to be the host. Miss Lyric is the poet, and then we have DJ Priest Jacobs, he's going to come and he's going to do his thing on the ones and twos. And the unique thing,
DJ Prince Jacobs.
the unique thing about that mix is that, and I'm asking that all local artists come out. The DJ mix is going to be just strictly local artists.
Oh, wow.
It's no mainstream. I want it to be a situation where I want to give back. That's my way of giving back and giving praise to the local artists that's in the city.
Wow. I think that's pretty impressive.
And it's an impressive lineup. Some of those folks have been on this show before too. That we saw up there.
Absolutely,
so we do have a rich scene here. We really do. And I'm certainly glad you're part of it now. We really are.
It. Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate it. I feel that one thing this show that I want for people to come out to the show and experience is not just have a good time. We will
that's
have
this
food.
Weekend?
No, it's yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's this weekend coming. Yes, ma'am. August the 9th at 537 Clemson Road at the Gwen. And
that's a great facility.
Yes, beautiful.
It is a beautiful facility. It holds about 500 of us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I want people just to come and experience something that they haven't experienced. We will have food. We'll have gumbo, chicken, cake, something to drink. And I want people to come and experience something that they haven't experienced before. Meaning, when you come in, if you came in, you feeling down, I want you to go into your car, sit down before you ride off. It's like, oh my God, what did I just experience and walk into? What was this? But it's something grand, it's something great, something to make you push on to be better.
There's that QR code. We can get information there. If people want to scan it now, get everything you need to know.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Everything.
All right, Mario, what's your comment on all this?
God is good.
He's holding on for the ride.
I'm so excited. So excited. So excited.
You know, that's what music is intended to do. I mean, as an artist, but also as the public. You know, I want to feel good when I hear it. I want it to make me feel happier and have a more positive outlook as I move forward. And I think that's what you're saying that your music does.
Yes.
Quickly give the who, what, when, where, why, and how, because James McLaughlin, Lord Pompeii is coming up next.
Okay. Tickets are on Eventbrite. It's 537 Clemson Road. Tickets are currently $35 right now. If you want to get your ticket, I advise get it early, get it early.
Because I want some gumbo.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to have gumbo. Gumbo.
All right.
We're going to feed your stomach and we're going to feed your musical soul at the same
Feed your
time.
musical soul at the same time.
You ready?
Yes,
You better be.
I guess I am.
Right, you have to
I
be.
guess I am. Pip, also known as AP, we are just delighted that you were having so much success in this space. We just wish you so much success. Of course, you were an early director of this show, and you know, just after we came back from the pandemic, you know, and so you've just been really, really good to the show. So.
So now we're good to him.
Yeah, now we're good to you.
Yeah, I
so
appreciate
good luck. You got to come back and let us know how it went.
Yes,
all
ma'am,
right?
we will do.
All right. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation about the impact of independent artists in our area with James McLaughlin, also known as Lord Pompeii. We'll be right back.
From the Watchbox Studios, this is On Point with Cynthia Hardy.
Hey, welcome back to On Point on Watchbox. Brian, you and I have the opportunity to now speak with Jay McLaughlin, also known as Lord Pompeii.
Yeah.
And Jay, I have been following your career as a performer since you were a very, very young teen. It just seems like it's in you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's such a pleasure, Cynthia.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something I've been doing since I've been a little itty bitty boy, and I'm just so happy to continue at my age to still have a love and a passion for being an artist and being a creative.
You know, I think that the independent artist movement is a really strong movement. I like knowing that people can take more of control over their own future with their talent and with their art.
Yeah, and you've been here before. It's been a few years. It felt like yesterday.
Yes.
But you said it's been like 5 or 6 years since you've been here.
It's been about 7 or 8, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happened? But he's still going.
Yeah, he's still going.
And we're going to see some of you here and see one of your videos here in a little bit, maybe in the next segment. But
awesome.
You're spending time overseas now too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like it's a blessing. Like I started touring over in Europe about 10 years ago. I've been to Paris over like 13 times, actually about 14 times. I went there 4 times in the last year. But it's just so awesome to be able to go and travel and go places where some people who don't listen to hip hop, you introduce them to it and they see you as a person and then they start liking it. And just to see the reception I get as an older artist, hip hop, it just turned 50 and I'm happy now that it's really a long lasting genre. Disco faded, a lot of things faded, but now hip hop, you can be older and do it. Chuck D and Flavor Flav, they're like in the mid 60s, doing Iowa Slick Ricky's in the early 60s, and I'm in my 40s. But just to go overseas and see how people receive hip hop, even though I consider myself to be a world music artist, it's just awesome because it shows you that, being an artist and expressing this craft, something that started in the ghettos of America, New York, still has a long-lasting impact on people around the world.
Wow, Jay, it must be in you. You know what I mean? Because this is something that just could not be contained. It was something that was always a part of who you were, the whole creative piece of it, whether it was sketching or whatever. And so to see you now in your 40s really having the level of success that is satisfying to you, so you get to have your career as an educator,
right,
and also a career as a performer,
right.
Make them go together.
Right.
Help me.
It's just so awesome. Like, I always had a passion for education. That's something my parents put in me as a young young boy. They always were giving me books and encouraged me to read and to be the best I could be. I come from a family of a lot of different crafts and a lot of success. Mm-hmm. And just becoming an educator was something that was natural to me. I didn't even want to go to college. I was like, I'm going to get out of school at 18 and I'm going to bump into Jermaine Dupri or Busta Rhymes and they're going to be like, oh, he's next. He's going to be the next big artist. But I realized that's a fantasy. It doesn't happen like that. So my mom was like, you're going to college. So I went to college and I was like, the only thing I was really interested in while in college was actually history and social studies and being an educator, because I knew with a job like that, I will always be able to have some type of occupation. Oftentimes people go to college and they get degrees where they can't really do a lot with the degree when they get out. But I knew as an educator, I would have a job forever.
Absolutely. And I think that's really smart, but to be able to mesh them together. History is one of those rich majors, Brian, as you know. A number of people major in history just to go to law school.
That's right. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of people who did that.
I do know plenty of people that did that. And you mentioned Jay's travels, international travels. Yeah. You forget sometimes, you get so used to doing what you do in the U.S., you forget that there's a whole new world out there.
There's a whole new world out there, and that's probably part of the history you teach. You get to go look at it firsthand.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's older than us.
Absolutely,
so much older than this country.
Absolutely, it's just awesome just to go and see things firsthand. I encourage anybody, if you don't have a passport, get one. Life is very short. It's just a zip off, blurring eternity. So while you're here, as long as you can do so, it's always cool. You hear about the Eiffel Tower, but going to see an Eiffel Tower or going to the Louvre Museum and seeing those actual carvings and busts that you see in history books. I went to Napoleon's tomb and to the military Ecole. So you go in there, you see the portraits that you see in textbooks, and just to actually see it has a whole other kind of connection that is really awe-inspiring, and just build something within you internally that just makes you want to see more.
Yeah, I am wondering about that. Your travels and all that you see, eye-opening and everything. It must have an impact on your work.
Absolutely, because when I speak to my students, I can speak to them from a first-hand account. And just being in these areas and talking to people who have first-hand experience on these issues or items, it's just eye-opening. Like, prime example, I went over there and I had a guy from Morocco say, so you're from America? I said, yeah. He said, where you from? I said, America. He said, no, where you from, Africa? And I was like, black people in America don't know where they're from.
Don't know.
You know what I mean? So he's like, wow, they never taught me that in school. And I was like, it was just interesting to see that he had no idea about something as simple as we think of as the transatlantic slave trade and the impact it had on America and its history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. All right, when we come back, we'll continue this conversation with James McLaughlin, also known as Lord Pompeii. We'll be right back, guys.
From the Watchbox Studios, this is On Point with Cynthia Hardy.
I can do anything, oh my. Read a rainbow, I can do anything. When I was young, I used to think I knew everything. Then I got a little older, learned life's a dream. Had to switch my mind state to God from King. Then I realized I can do anything. See, when times got rough, I had to get a little tough. Felt the pressure of the treasure deep inside kept me up. This little light of mine, I let it shine through the stuff that tried to hold me down, keep my pride, had to cut a lot of ties with some guys, ate my losses like lunch. Like back in '89, turkey sandwich, fruit punch with some chips on the side after school.
Wow.
We're seeing
Wow.
Europe there. Like he said,
Yes,
it's recording it at the scene.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's made an impact on you being in France, I can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Oui, mon frère. All that, right? Yes, yes, absolutely. Just, a culture. Like, I grew up learning Spanish, because obviously in America, we deal with a lot of people from Latin American countries. So when I started going to Paris, it was just wild because of the language barrier. I never learned any French, and like I was talking to you earlier, France is interesting because the French are like Americans. When somebody's Spanish, a lot of times speak Spanish, like, yo, you know some English? So I'll go over there and speak. Hey man, you know how I can change my SIM card out? And I'll be like, and then had one guy was like, you come to me and you speak English, and I was like, excusez-moi, mon frère. And then I'm like, oh, okay, wow. And then they know English, like we talked earlier, better than like a lot of Americans know English. So this is interesting to have those cultural actions and exchanges.
It sounds like that. Sounds like you are able to integrate yourself very nicely into the culture.
Absolutely.
You learn a little bit more about their language every time you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a little, I'm not gonna say hard.
You got friends too that are there.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a whole squadron of people out there. Like I don't go to hotels anymore. I have places I can stay now. It's like a second home. Yeah, I'm not fancy though. But it's just awesome. But learning French in Paris is a little interesting because there's so many different dialects. So you're there with people like from Haiti or Guadeloupe in the Caribbean, or from Burkina Faso or the Congo, or even in France, and they all have different accents. So I guess it's kind of like learning English in a place like in New York, or probably like Atlanta to be more exact, with the differences that go on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. I realize how underexposed we are when I, talk to someone who travels extensively and very often. The world is a whole lot smaller than we think about.
Than it used to be.
Yes.
Because of technology, mainly is what it is. But
absolutely.
But not everyone takes advantage. Not everybody taps in because, like you said, it can go fast.
Yeah.
Get that passport. Go see the things you say you want to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Life is short. Life is fleeting. We're only here for a little bit of time. So while you're here, make the best of it. Yeah.
So when it comes to monetizing your craft, because a lot of times people in your position, you have all this creativity in you. It's just important to you to get it out and to share it with the masses.
Right.
But figuring out a way to help it pay for itself sometimes is a little bit challenging. So when we talk about the game changer that independent artists are, can you talk to us a little bit about how you can generate funds?
Absolutely. A lot of people, they look for the internet to monetize themselves, but I feel like one of the best ways as an artist you can monetize yourself, which I'm in the process of doing on another level when my album drops. Shameless plug, The Resurrection won't be televised, Volume 1.
Oh, I heard it. I love it. I do. I saw it online somewhere.
I appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. It's very, very good.
Thank you so much. But the merchandise, like as an artist, you don't make money off streams. Okay, like that's what's really changed. You could sell a CD back in the 2000s and make $10. Now it takes like thousands of maybe tens of thousands of streams to make that much off of $10. So your merchandise, you have to have a big online presence, but you want to have the t-shirts, the gear, and you definitely have to be doing shows. I get it, doing shows for free on one thing, but eventually, when you build your brand, you have to start making a little something for what you do.
That's interesting because I think we want people to know that. We want people to express themselves and to feel whole in doing it, but you got to be able to make a living as well.
There's a value to what you do. I know in the early going, like you said, you're going to just want to showcase yourself.
Right.
You'll do it for free, but free isn't forever.
Right.
Free isn't forever.
Right.
In the last 2 minutes that we have, tell people how they can reach you. Tell people how they can get your music. And I know you saw AP and Soulful Touch earlier. Anything you want to say about them?
Okay,
the Gumbo, that's right.
The Gumbo, yeah. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on all social media platforms. You can find me on Facebook under Lower Pompeii 803. You can find me on TikTok under Lower Pompeii 803. And you can find me on Instagram under Lower Pompeii 803. And follow me. I love to follow you back and just watch this little journey because as the Jamaicans say, big things are going down. Stuff is happening real soon, so I appreciate y'all for having me. It's really a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Always, Jay. Always a pleasure to have you come and talk about your travels. We remain very proud of the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Good to see you.
Brian, this is another great show.
And let's make sure it's not 7 years before he comes back.
That's right. We'll have to have him back. I want to thank AP, also known to us as Alexis Pipkins, for being here. Pip, AP, and Soulful Touche. And we want people to make sure they support his gumbo event coming up on the 9th of this month. So thank you guys for always supporting the product that Brian and I put together each and every week. We recognize when we provide this kind of information, it doesn't just inform, but it also empowers. Informed, empowered, and on point. We're going to see you guys next week.